Hey, you're about to listen to part 2 of our conversation with the great Jeff Trager. One of the pleasures of hosting the Break It Down show is that we've made a lot of great friends, and I definitely count Jeff among them. His stories are terrific, and this weekend, Saturday, March 12th, he's hosting the Gentlemen of Soul at the Downtown Theater in Fairfield, California. So if you're around, go check out the show. It's terrific. He's paying tribute to a lot of the great soul singers. It's a great time, close by. So go to jefftragerpresents.com. You can buy tickets there. There's a link to the Downtown Theater in Fairfield. It's going to be a fabulous night. Bring your lady friend, because there's going to be some romance in the air that night. This Saturday, March 12th, at the Downtown Theater in Fairfield. Once again, go to jefftragerpresents.com to buy your tickets.
This is Jeff Trager, and you're listening to the Break It Down Show.
And now, the Break It Down Show with John and Pete.
So we're here with Jeff Trager. We're back.
I'm back and I'm proud.
That's right.
James used
Say it out loud.
As James used to say.
Where was James Brown? Did you ever work for James?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, but it's funny. When I was a bellboy, James came in to stay at the Jack Tar Hotel, and he came up. They pulled up in a big Greyhound bus, one of the really long, thin ones in those days.
Yeah.
And so he was there for 3 days. He was playing Oakland. So I got to hang out with Bobby Bird and Maceo Parker. And after the 3 days, I heard that James liked to run out on the bill a lot. So when he checked out, I was watching him. He come off the elevator, and he headed right for the bus. Never went to the checkout. So all of a sudden, the assistant manager comes running up to me and says, "You got to help us." And I said, "Why?" He says, "You know those people." And I said, "What do you mean, those people?" "Oh, you mean those black people?" I says, "Yeah, those are friends of mine." He says, "You got to go in and get the money from James. Because, I mean, you're afraid to go in the door."
Yeah.
So I went in there, and then James...
You went into the bus.
I get in the bus, and James is sitting way in the back. So
Sure.
Everybody's sitting there, and all the people that I had been friends with for a couple of days are going, "Oh, boy, this is going to be interesting."
Yeah.
You know, nobody's smiling. And so I leaned over, and I said, "James," I said, "you didn't pay the bill." And he goes, "I thought I told something," because that's the way he talked.
Right.
You know, I thought I told somebody to take care of that. And he pulled out a big wad of money, and he peeled off $3,000 in $100 bills, and I walked off the bus as a hero.
Right.
You know,
Wow.
I got the money.
You got the bill paid, yeah.
I got the money.
Should have got a taste of that.
And here comes years later, I go to work for Polydor Records, and James is on the label.
Okay.
And he's telling everybody, his thing was he was telling everybody he's the president of Polydor Records, and he wasn't, you know.
Yeah.
And so I'd run into him at conventions, and he'd say, "Yeah, man, I'm the president of Polydor." I says, "James, you're not the president of Polydor." You know, come on, you made us a lot of money, but
Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, so he comes to San Francisco, and we did a TV show called People Are Talking.
Yeah. Ross McGowan.
Yeah, and Ann Fraser.
Ann Fraser, yeah.
Yeah, good. And so 8 o'clock in the morning, he pulls up in a limo, and he gets out, and right away...
James Brown did People Are Talking.
Well, here's where it gets funny.
Okay.
I take him, and I set the whole thing up, and I said, "Ross, here's James." And about 5 minutes later, he comes walking out, and he grabs me. He says, "I can't understand a word he's saying." I says, "How can I put him on television?" And I says, "That's your problem, man." I says, "James Brown, man."
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
How do you keep him off television?
So
He was on People Are Talking.
Yeah, he was on People Are Talking.
Wow.
You know, he was older. He wasn't moving like he used to, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, because let me tell you something. James Brown was one of the greatest entertainers of all time.
Yeah.
When you talk about entertainers,
Yeah.
you talk about Michael Jackson.
Right.
You talk about Sammy Davis Jr.
Yep.
You talk about James Brown.
Yeah.
I mean, these cats could do it all. They were just absolutely true geniuses. And
Right.
the true geniuses were guys like Stevie, Donny Hathaway, who did everything.
Yeah.
You know, wrote, played.
Prince.
Prince.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, there's not a lot of great, true Ray Charles. Curtis Mayfield was another one.
Yeah.
But outside of that, they're on rarefied air.
It gets thin, yeah.
They're on the top of the heap, you know.
I saw James Brown in 1998, maybe. And I was almost afraid to see him because he wasn't moving like he used to, like you said. I didn't want to see him too far out of his prime. It worried me. And you know what? He didn't disappoint. He did not disappoint.
I think if you go back and see footage on YouTube of James Brown from the 60s when he did the Live at the Apollo.
Yeah.
I think that was 62. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Nobody could dance like James Brown. Bruno Mars, give me a break.
No.
I take that back.
Listen, Bruno Mars is a great dancer.
Yeah, he's ripping off James.
But that's the thing, is that, you know, all the guys that did it after James Brown are doing the James Brown.
Yeah.
And nobody even came close.
No, Jackie Wilson.
To him at that. Well, okay, all right.
Jackie Wilson.
You know what? I wasn't around for Jackie Wilson.
Yeah, but I remember Jackie because I'm an old. No, Jackie Wilson did it all.
Yeah.
Jackie was too bad he had a brain aneurysm. But if you look at footage of Jackie Wilson,
there's
a little James.
He could dance too.
And Sammy Davis Jr.
could do it all.
He could do it.
We don't, you know, to the people today, they don't remember Sammy because it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Sammy Davis did everything.
Everything. All the way to telling jokes. You know what I mean? He did everything as well as anybody.
He'd get behind a kit, he'd dance, he'd sing.
He'd burn on the drums.
Yeah, he had personal problems. That's what kind of ruined his career.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. You know, he and Sinatra were the best of friends, and then personal things got in the way. And when he married Mae Britt, you know, who was a white woman, that caused big trouble. Big trouble. And Frank had to distance himself.
And you know what? There were 1,000 things that he did that Frank refused to distance himself about. Yeah. And that was just kind of the,
that's the way it was. They were,
they
were unbelievable. I mean, you know, the Rat Pack was really something. That was another time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think there are so fewer musically talented artists than there were generations ago? Do you think the technology has spoiled us? What do you think's done it?
I don't know. I think there's a lack of great songwriters. I think you're just going through a lull right now. There's nothing really.
Is there a lack, or are we not finding them? Because somebody, I don't know if this is true, but I saw somebody say, hey, you know what? There's about 16 people writing everything that you hear on the radio right now.
Yeah. The creativity's not as great. There's no Crosby, Stills and Nash's or Buffalo Springfield. There's no Stevie Wonders. There's no Beatles. There's no Rolling Stones.
Now, is it because that they're not out there, or is it?
No, they're out there.
They're out there.
No,
okay.
They're out there.
We agree.
There's one on every corner in Vallejo.
So we agree that they do exist.
Yeah.
And there is still artistry and creativity that's out there in the world. It's not coming through.
No, I think radio's different. You can't get listened. I mean, there's a lot of radio stations that don't exist anymore. There's great talent out there. It's just that they're not given the opportunity to be heard. You know, there's a girl out of Vallejo, Gabby Wilson, that's fantastic. You'll hear from her.
Okay.
She plays 4 instruments, and she's written 100 songs. Alicia Keys discovered her.
Really?
She is...
Gabby Wilson.
Gabby Wilson.
All right.
Yeah.
We've heard of Gabby Wilson.
If that sounds familiar, I just can't place it.
Well,
maybe from James. Yeah. James Early?
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. But I did a fundraiser for breast cancer awareness, and I had Rick Stevens from Tower Power, and I had Tony Lindsay, and I had Pete Escovedo, and I had Mick Gillette.
Yeah.
A couple other guys from Tower, and Gabby heard about it, and she came over to Fairfield, and Rick Stevens did You're Still a Young Man. He goes, what do you want to sing? Which one of your songs? He says, I don't want to sing. I said, I want to play bass on What Is Hip.
No shit.
Yeah.
She wanted to play bass on What Is Hip.
Yeah, and she wound up, then of course she stayed on stage and she did You're Still a Young Man. When I met her, she was so...
That just made my heart fall out of my chest.
Yeah.
Well, when I met her, she wanted to talk about people like Aretha, Dinah Washington,
So she was
some of the
steeped in
greats, you know, that Etta James.
Yeah. She
Billie-
knew the real deal.
Billie Holiday.
Uh-huh.
She wanted to go back to the roots.
She wasn't asking about Britney Spears.
She wasn't asking.
Don't make that face at me, man. I'm just kidding. So,
no, and she's got fat ankles, that Britney, anyway.
I wouldn't look at her ankles.
No. Let's get off that.
I want to ask this. So it appears that the era of the band is sort of closed and music has gone in a different direction, and it's different for music artists to make money now. What does someone who has your type of position do with a young act, like a young band that wants to go somewhere? Or what do you do? It's so different now.
Tell them to stay in school.
wow.
No. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
I tell
this
them
is the question.
truth.
Yeah.
Sure.
This is so hard to make it. One thing I tell them is write, because writing is everything.
Sure.
Okay? Don't give up your dreams.
Yeah.
No matter what. Just don't give up your dream. But don't think that you're going to walk out on the stage at Fillmore West just like that. They all think that it's easy. No, it's not.
Yeah.
You know how many people make it? It's like ball players.
Yeah.
Once in a while they get a guy from Vallejo who makes it, and then in another 10 years. I'm telling them, this is really, really hard. Make your own record if you can.
Sure.
And have that. It's yours now. Guess what? You
got a record.
You can walk around and say, look, and you created it. You painted it. This is yours.
Yeah.
We had a guy named Positive K on the show, and he's a hip hop artist.
He had one hit
One real big
many
hit.
years ago,
Yeah.
and it was, let's not call it a real big hit. It's a real big hit for us culturally.
Yeah.
We know and love that song, but it wasn't, I don't know. I mean, it maybe sold 1 million records, but, it wasn't it
was
didn't
big
sell
enough-
10 million.
It provides him an income still to this day, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he'll say the same thing. He's like, stay in school, get educated, continue to.
This is hard.
If you're going to do this as an extra. And if something happens, then you can
Right.
shift to it.
Yeah.
Right. It's so hard. I can't tell you how hard it is.
So all we've done in democratizing music, because that I've heard that
Yeah.
that phrase, music is democratized now. You don't have to get signed to a label. You don't have to record.
Which is good. Which is
Which is
cool.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, you
right.
don't have to go into a studio like the record plant or somewhere and spend $1 million to make a record.
No.
You can make a record in your house.
Sure.
I mean, we're doing this podcast on my dining room table.
Yeah.
So that's great, but the difference is the glut
Yes.
of crap that
Well,
exists
there was-
that you have to cut through now.
You don't think there were gluttons?
Well, I mean,
crap in those days?
It was a different place that you had to cut through the glut, though. When you got the opportunity to make a record, you had narrowed the field. By the time somebody paid for you to set foot into a recording studio, you had proven something to somebody. Now you can go to Guitar Center, spend $500, build a studio in your apartment, and cut something. And congratulations, you've done what a zillion other people
And you can
have,
send it
have
off to
done.
you can send it off to Atlantic and Motown and anybody else.
Oh, no,
It's-
they won't. They won't.
Right.
No, but
Yeah.
you can get it to them. Like they may never receive it, but you couldn't physically get to those places before. Now you can.
No, you know
can
how
shoot
they
stuff
got it
out.
that through attorneys.
sure.
You'd hire an attorney that knew somebody at the label in the A&R department. You know?
It was just a different path.
It was.
But you had to, the same thing applies now that did then, and maybe more so. And that is that you have to cut your teeth, you have to become seasoned, you have to,
Just become good.
you have to be good.
You got to be great. You got to be better than great.
Right. Better
You know?
than great. Yeah.
Why not?
And you got to realize too that there's a ton of competition. The competition's so steep that acts that have been around for 20, 30, 40, 50 years can be tributes to themselves and still make a ton of money.
Yeah.
So there's, the Rolling Stones are still in your way if you're trying to take some of their audience, and they're not going to give their audience up. So you're still vying with mammoth acts that have got giant bodies of work. It's tough to break into that.
I heard this interesting statistic, Jeff. Every week we create as much content as we did from the dawn of time to 1974. Wow. The amount of content that existed in that time period. We do that every week now. Oh. Yeah.
Interesting.
Pictures, music, video, all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we all have devices to record time on our phones.
Sure.
So,
Once in a while, a song will break through
Sure.
somehow, some way, once in a while.
That's one of the good things about the market now is that you don't need a whole album anymore.
No.
You just need a song, and you just release that song.
Well, that's what
I'm
hurt.
fine for the days of album.
Well,
What do you think?
I loved albums.
Yeah.
I loved album jackets. I loved the artwork. I loved
liner notes.
Liner notes.
Right.
Just to get lost in an album
Yeah.
for 45 minutes.
I mean, look at the album jacket that like the Ike and Tina, the Dave Mason Alone Together album is a classic.
Yeah.
Every record, it was multicolored.
Give us some more of your favorite album jackets. Because that day is sort of seeing a resurgence now. You know, Amazon sold more players of vinyl records this last Christmas season
That's true.
than they sold of any other device that plays music.
I tell you, this is cornball, but
Cheech and Chong that came with the rolling paper.
it's a beggar's banquet. Is
Beggar's
simple.
Banquet.
As simple as it was.
Yeah.
The Tijuana Brass.
Oh, yeah.
With Jerry Moss's wife with the whipped cream
Yes.
all over her.
Yes.
Was very cool.
Uh-huh.
There was an album called Blind Man's Movie that a comedian did, and it was just
Blind Man's Movie.
It was black.
Nice.
That's hilarious.
You had no idea who.
That is hilarious.
Yeah,
Blind Man's Movie.
Yeah, it was. There's different. Blue Thumb had great covers.
Yeah.
Great covers. I mean, Budding the Juniors was done on like lined paper that you get in the
school.
in the schools. It's an art.
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
I don't see a lot of great ones.
Black Moses, Isaac Hayes.
Yeah,
That one opened up.
Yeah.
It unfolded, and it was Isaac Hayes in the crucifix position. It was pretty neat. I always liked animated album covers. I mentioned this on our last episode that we just dropped this week with Dave Agent. Was what got me really into music was my dad. My dad is a sax player, so I had a lot of horn bands that he listened to, and I figured out how to plug the headphones into the headphone jack and listen to records and not bother anybody. So that became sort of a babysitter.
Sure.
And my folks would say, "Oh, he's listening to records. Okay, well, he's going to leave us alone for an hour." And I'd put my dad's headphones on and I'd plug in, and I gravitated towards two records in particular because they had animated covers, and I was 6 years old. Tower of Power, Bump City.
Oh yeah.
With the chicken drumstick.
That's right.
And War, The World is a Ghetto.
Yeah. Yeah.
I loved album art.
Yeah.
We created, not to interrupt you. But
No, don't do it. Do
no, but
you got the interesting stories. I'm just a big
we
number.
had a,
I'm not cutting that out. I'm
No.
gonna leave that in.
when Tower Power had the second record after Bump City called Back to Oakland.
Yeah.
Sure.
And our office was the one that came up with the idea
Of the sign.
Of the sign.
Yeah.
Which is one of the greatest promotions album jacket
Oh, that was terrific.
ever.
Yeah.
When you drove back to Oakland,
Yep.
there was that big sign, and it was different color because they can't do the same green.
Yeah.
It said Back to Oakland.
So that was the thing that you had to do to create that cover. You had to use a different green than the actual sign. But
what
that's
a
iconic.
great idea.
Yeah. I mean, I would blow that up and put it on the wall above my man cave. Yeah. And have that.
Well, I had a softball team called Tower Power, and we had the chicken bone, with the hand,
on your jersey,
Bump City, yeah.
That's
and
hilarious.
We come out on the
I
field.
want that jersey, Jeff.
No,
I want that jersey.
There aren't any more. I'm telling you, every girl in the stands wanted it. When
I bet
they didn't want us, they wanted the jersey.
Your
cool.
bat painted like a chicken wing,
Yeah, right.
like chicken leg right there.
I used to do that with all the labels. I used to get them to we were
to have the softball team.
Yeah, Doobie Brothers,
Yeah.
minute by minute. And they would sponsor us, But
I have one question, then I'm going to be good. Who do you listen to now today? Who's a modern artist that makes you turn up the volume?
oh God, there's not a lot. I like Alicia Keys.
That counts?
Yeah.
That's not bad. That's great.
I like Alicia Keys.
Sure.
There's not a lot of artists that I listen to. I'm old school.
If you like the show,
And you know you do.
send us some pictures of your movies.
Don't do that. Support the show.
There are 3 ways you can support us.
Number 1, go to iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you listen to podcasts.
And leave a 5-star rating and review.
It helps with the show metrics, and helps us get better placement. Number 2,
Visit our website.
www.breakitdownshow.com.
We've got an Amazon and an eBay link.
Same Amazon, same eBay you know and love, but they give us a little kickback when you get to their site from ours. And number 3, leave comments about the shows that you like. We want to know what you think, how you feel.
Tell us how to make the show better. We greatly appreciate it.
Now back to the show.
We like boobies.
I can't listen to radio too much anymore.
Yeah.
It's just not. You know, the last album that I really liked was Herb Alpert and Lenny Hall. My
Sure.
favorite music is jazz, Brazilian music.
Yeah.
You know, I was listening to Brubeck before almost everybody I knew.
Sure.
I was listening to Sinatra before. I don't know what it was. That was when I was 16 years old. Everybody was listening to something else. I was listening to Booker T, and I was listening to Bobby Darin. Bobby Darin was so good. People don't realize it, you know, how good he was.
Yeah.
You know, and I got into big band music, and nobody's listening to that stuff.
It's weird how
People don't realize how good Booker T was.
Sure, it is.
Booker T played it the second year that we had at the Voices of Latin Rock,
Wow.
along with Lenny Williams,
Wow.
along with Carlos.
Huh.
Okay. And then that was the second year, and we, along with Greg Raleigh and Neil Sean and Michael Carabello and Shreves, that was the night. A couple of years later, I opened up the Era. So we got Carlos to show up, and I got Raleigh, and we took the original band and put it back together.
Yeah.
Or Carlos did, but we gave him, you know, the stage
platform. Yeah.
Platform. But we had Los Lobos. We honored Richie Valens' family, which was very cool. And we honored John Santos. Then I brought out Jackie Green, Chris Webster, who was with Mumbo Gumbo. She's really good. But Jackie Green, nobody knew who he was. And then at the end of the night, Jackie joined Los Lobos to play.
Wow.
And we had already listened to the original Santana band.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you think
We're talking about a tough act to follow.
Yeah.
Okay. So here comes Los Lobos. They're our headliner.
Now, the thing is, Los Lobos is no joke.
No,
Those
absolutely.
guys punch way above their weight and always
Right.
have.
And the place was going crazy. And up to the back door, in walks George Clinton and Sly.
Oh, come on.
And Sly.
Yeah.
Okay. Now he had just coming off that fiasco on the Grammys
Right.
where he walked off stage. But I caught him. I chased him for a couple of months, and people said, "Nah, he's not going to show up." And I ran in.
He was famous for not showing up, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, but he said he called and says, "I'll play if I can be the headliner." And I said, "I've already got my lineup." I says, "You play at this time," and he didn't. You know,
He didn't like being told that.
Yeah. So, but he showed up. It was George.
Yeah.
And Sly.
Well, that's the only thing that's going to get Sly to show up on time is if George brings him.
George brought him.
Yeah.
And George did tear the sucker down, and that place was going crazy, and nobody thought that Sly was going to be there, so people were leaving.
Yeah.
And as they were leaving, all of a sudden, George grabs Sly and pulls him out on stage, and Sly's sitting at the organ going, "I want to take you higher." Well, somebody had unplugged the organ, so there was no sound.
Wow.
So Sly goes to this happens, and so Sly goes to the edge of the stage and climbs down and walks through the audience, and it was like the Red Sea parting, and he walked out through the audience and out the front door and locked himself into his van and wouldn't come out. But the fact that we got him there,
Yep.
It's huge.
well, that's it.
Yeah.
That was the greatest. And I remember the guys from Los Lobos saying to me,
That was Sly.
he's writing a book. He's writing a book.
Yeah.
And he says, "I'll never forget that. I've been in the business 30 years." I said, "That is unbelievable." You know, for Sly, because Sly was that good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sly was. Forget, before Prince, there was Sly. Sly was one of the greatest writers of all time.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, And he
was the first guy to pull together a racially integrated band.
He was good, and not a lot of people recognize that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you've got that band that had not only just you had women,
Yeah,
Sure.
right.
to boot. An
And
Italian drummer, a Mexican saxophone player,
Yeah,
and you had
female trumpet player,
right? And you had your sisters, and
right?
and it was unbelievable.
And you didn't know who was going to be singing the song because it could be any of them.
Right,
There's just no
right,
rules,
and
yeah.
then and that because before that it was only one integrated band that I knew of, and that was Booker T,
Right.
Sure.
Duck Dunn, and
Yeah,
Cropper.
Steve Cropper.
Yeah, and then right behind Sly, this is the greatness of San Francisco.
Yeah.
Right.
Diversity.
Yeah,
Here comes Santana.
yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay, with
Mike Shreve, who was white.
Well, you got Michael Shreve rolling.
Yeah,
Okay, you had an African American and David Brown
right.
from the projects, which is great. You had a Mexican from Tijuana.
Yep.
You had a Nicaraguan in Chapito, and you had a Puerto Rican in Caravello.
Yeah, that's everybody.
Oh, you talk about
Yeah.
a melting pot.
Yeah.
That is one thing that we love about the Bay Area.
It
Everybody's in.
I think
Jump
that
in,
it was
everybody.
only appropriate
Yeah.
that could happen in the Bay Area
Yep.
because it did represent what the Bay Area was, you know,
Yeah.
and it was what a great time for music, you know.
Well, when we asked Sly about that, what was it about a racially integrated band that what drew you to these
I'll bet
people?
he
And
said he didn't.
well,
It didn't make any difference. I never even thought about it.
no, he did. He said he did think about it because first of all, he wanted the best players,
That's
and when the best players happen to have all that racial mix, he said, I think we're really onto something.
Yeah.
We can really make a statement here.
Yeah.
And then we also asked him, well, what about, how come you weren't more involved in the civil rights? I mean, what happened with the, why didn't you, why weren't you more visible? And he said, I went to March with Dr. King in Selma, and I was in the front row, and we were getting ready to start marching, and I realized I had a loaded gun in my pocket. And I looked across that bridge and I saw those cops with their billy clubs, and I thought, I got to get out of here. I gotta go.
No, I remember Sly being on TV, and I
Sure.
think it was Dick Cavett,
Dick Cavett.
with
Or
Ali.
Mike
Exactly.
Douglas.
Yeah.
Or was it
Was
Dick
it
Cavett?
Mike Douglas or was it Cavett?
I think it was Cavett because he was on that show for like a whole week. He was like
And
the guest.
he was gone
yeah.
mentally. And
Yeah.
here's Ali going, black this, black that.
Yeah.
And Sly's going, hey, man,
Yeah.
we just get along or something like that.
Yeah,
It was
That's
like,
exactly right.
what's your trip?
Yeah.
You telling Ali,
Yep.
who cares, man?
Uh-huh.
You
Yeah.
know? And Ali's going, I thought he was going to kill him.
Yeah.
But Sly is just talking, he's talking.
Yeah. How could you kill that guy?
Yeah.
I mean, he was up there and he was
So cool.
right.
He was. I remember when he did the Ed Sullivan show.
Oh, wow.
And he came out, got off stage, and he started up the aisle with his sister, and he started dancing.
Uh-huh.
And I'm telling, and Sly could dance.
Yeah.
Sure.
And he was, and I'm telling you, the look on the audience's face was priceless. I mean, they were in shock. What the hell is this?
Yeah.
They never saw blacks because it was mostly white audience,
right.
just having the time of their life. And that's what Sly, that's what he did.
Yep.
He brought music that was socially,
He
just
did
raise your
he made a
consciousness.
statement for sure, but he
Yeah.
never left a good time behind.
No, he never did it for
Yeah.
sure. But he made you think.
Right.
Okay, he wrote songs that you went, wow, and he was saying words that, I don't want to say, but I go, wow, I remember when I heard that,
Yeah.
Whitey.
Don't
And I
call me. Yeah.
go,
Yeah.
I meant, no, this has never been done.
That was a bold statement.
Hot fun. And I remember when I did a fundraiser with Crystal Middle School, and I got Greg Arico
Uh-huh.
to show up, and Greg got the kids to sing Everyday People. I'm telling you, that was melt your heart.
Wow.
Those kids.
Gregorico is one of my favorite drummers, man. He's so.
Did you
so
see him
good.
at Herman's fundraiser?
No, I did not.
He didn't even know Herman. He just showed up.
He just showed up.
Well,
wow.
I asked him.
Yeah. Still.
No,
whatever.
but he says I
showed
do
up.
that. No,
Yeah.
he says he's a musician. I'll sure, Jeff.
I'll
Sure.
tell you what, man. I mean, aside from Sly and the Family Stone and all the great music that he made there, shucks, Betty Davis.
Thank you.
He played on the Betty Davis record.
He produced that
Oh
record.
man, did he really?
Yeah, that was his claim to fame.
Oh, I love Betty Davis so much.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed with your knowledge, man.
Thank you,
because
man.
There's nobody.
That is a
not
hell
too
of a
many-
compliment.
I don't remember it, too many people knowing that,
Yeah.
except very few people do.
Oh, we are about to funky get down on the get down here on the Break It Down.
You're the
show.
only guy in Benicia that knows that. But,
That could be.
you
That
know,
could be.
but Greg's a great guy. I mean, he's just a salt of the earth. And, when he played it for Herman, man, it was all these drummers that were standing behind them or checking them out going, oh, this is
Right.
This is different.
It just got serious.
The game just got got elevated here,
Yeah.
because he's got in such a groove,
Yes, he has what drummers like to refer to as a deep ass pocket.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And it's so nice of him to come up and play for a fundraiser like that. He says,
Yeah.
let me tell you something, I got more out of that than just to seeing those kids and the smiling and
Sure.
everything. And he says, I make a lot of money and this and that. And I said, but boy, doing this is where it's at.
Right.
He did it for the right reasons. That's why I like doing these fundraisers.
Yeah.
So that I can put together musicians.
People will come out and they'll bring their hearts with them.
Yeah. Jackie Green did a show for me at the Downtown Theater.
Wow.
And nobody knew who he was.
Yeah.
And when the show was over,
And they knew who he was.
they knew who he was. They go, wow, where'd this guy come from?
I want to tell a story about my niece and Betty Davis because John was playing her stuff on the old radio show we used to have. It was right before I joined John on the show. And my niece Kayla was like, that lady sounds like she's dying. This is terrible. And I'm like, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
She's dying on the inside. Yeah. She's singing it,
It's coming out.
Yeah. That's what it sounds
what
like.
Pain sounds like.
Yeah. So you're getting it. You just don't get it yet, but you're getting it. But that's Betty Davis, And to make those sounds come out of her in a studio, that takes someone she can get there, but it's not great unless you have someone,
Somebody to foster that emotion.
Yeah.
I met her in a hotel room in San Francisco. She came in with Hugh Masekela.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was cool. Hugh Masekela and Greg and I'm trying to think who else. It was really cool. Betty. It was just.
I gotta give sometimes I get inspired by something and they give a shout out to somebody I know. I gotta give a shout out to my dad, man.
Yeah.
It's because of my dad that I know all these great records that existed before my time, because my dad had superb taste in music and, was a player himself. So he knew what he liked and he made sure that I got the education in what was hip.
Yeah.
And I define myself by the things that I like.
Sure. I remember my dad turning me on to the Mills Brothers because that's what he liked. And I remember one of my favorite songs was "Up the Lazy River, Hold It Wrong, Lazy Lazy River." I went, wow! And to this day, it's one of and they were so cool. My dad wasn't in the music business, but he had great.
When you sit down at a bar and they've got karaoke going on, do you just want to boil your eyes out, or can you enjoy the whole?
Well, first of all, I don't drink, so I won't be in a bar.
Sure,
Yeah.
but for a social occasion or something, if there's karaoke at a high school
No,
dance.
I can't. I don't remember the last time karaoke was 30 years ago. I don't do. No, I just.
Yeah.
Come on.
No.
There's some things better left to the professionals.
Give me the Ghetto by Donny Hathaway. That's what
Yeah.
and everything's there. That's what I say, or Turn On Your Love Life. you know, just that's why I like doing these shows that I'm doing this downtown theater. Is, you know, I did the Divas of Soul, and we honored Chaka Khan and Aretha and Tina,
Sure.
and Gladys Knight and Billie Holiday, and that was cool because we had all these great songs, Martha and the Vandellas and Mary Wells and songs like that, and then we're doing this thing called Gentleman of Soul coming up in March.
And who do you honor?
Marvin Gaye,
Sure.
Teddy Pendergrass,
Oh, Teddy P.
Lou Rawls,
Oh, yeah.
a guy named Sam Cooke,
Oh, a guy named Sam Cooke.
Bill Withers.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get Harold Melvin in there. I got to find me somebody who can do it. But we got 3 great soul singers. They're going to do the music.
Yeah.
That's great.
Got a great band.
If we can ever help you guys out in promoting what you're trying to do, we'd love to.
Oh, man, count us in.
This is your platform, you know.
Yeah.
We would love
Well,
to
if
do
you
this.
run this before March 12th, yeah.
That's not
All
a
right.
problem.
March
Yeah.
12th.
You know. But
Come to see. What is it called? Gentleman of Soul?
yeah, the first one was called Divas of Soul.
Right.
Yeah.
So the Gentleman of Soul.
Sold out, too. It's sold out. Lenny Williams sold out. We're making it work downtown Fairfield.
You're packing the house in downtown Fairfield. That's a nice theater.
I just did Lindsay Elm from The Voice.
Uh-huh.
She's very good.
That theater's nice.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
That theater is.
Sounds great.
Yeah, every seat in the house is good. It's just that it's taking time for people to find out
To come out.
exactly
The
where
Empress
it
has
is.
the same thing, too. The Empress has got great things going on in Vallejo. But it's just getting the people to understand that it's there, you know, and that it's cool to go there and see the shows.
Yeah, I agree. That's it. I go down on Wednesday night, you know, looking for a new
Well,
for
see,
another
we
Tina.
had a hard time with Wednesday night because we had a show on OzCat
Yeah,
radio on Wednesday night. So whenever we'd see the fly, we'd go, "Oh, that's right now."
Yeah.
yeah.
So we never did make it down there on a Wednesday night.
That's where I'll find my next Tina.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they may not make as much money as Tina made. You know, breaking that record.
Yeah.
Tina, of course, left Ike, and then she did her. You know, nobody would sign her.
Wow.
Right.
How about that one?
Yeah, it's more ground to cut.
And she went to a friend of mine who loved the I've Been Loving You Too Long, the record I broke. And he goes, Tina, I love you. I heard you sing this song about 3 years ago. She goes, I don't like that song. She says, I never did like it. I just didn't like performing it.
Yeah.
And he
You had
said,
emotional strings for her.
he goes, I love you. I think you're great. I've got some material for you. And he pulls out Private Dancer and What's Love Got to Do with It.
Come
Okay.
on.
And he produced it. He was one of 5 producers.
That ended up making that record.
He begged Capitol Records to sign her. And they finally did. And she went on to make.
And that record killed.
Kaboom. I mean, like,
Well,
she's already huge, not just.
She
is-
probably made $100 million plus, because don't forget, all his records that she had made with Ike and Tina. Ike
Yeah, they
before,
all.
Yeah.
But touring.
She made a bunch of new fans. They went back and bought
Right.
the Ike and Tina
She made
records.
movies, which made her get more fan. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, she was as big as
Sure.
as Whitney, and
Sure.
but she could dance
Just with better shoulders. Yeah.
yeah.
and legs.
So, let's see. What else did I met Joe Iskro. I just want to see how you'd react to that.
Excuse me. Oh, Jesus. Joe, that's. I hope he's not listening. Joe was a wannabe. Well, he was. No, he was more than a wannabe. He was a little mafioso guy,
Yeah.
you know. But he was powerful.
Sure.
He was really powerful. But he was a cartoon.
Yeah.
Just the way he'd walk through the halls and like, I'm going, look at this guy.
Yeah.
You know, but you got to be nice to him because he is so powerful. And, you know, he had a lot of radio stations in his pocket.
You know, by the time I met him, it was after he was powerful, but by then he was already renowned. And he had started a label called Raging Bull.
Yeah.
Let's start there. His label was called Raging Bull
Right.
Records. So there's that. So I managed to, I was working at a jazz label in Emeryville. It's called X.25. And I managed to get an appointment to see Joe. So we drove down to LA. my boss and I drove down to L.A. Mehdi Ahmadi is his name, and he's still around. He's a great guy. He and I drove down to L.A. We went to Encino, and he ran Raging Bull out of a nice house in Encino. So we walk. Well, first we pull up, and there's like a circular drive in front of the house, and he's got like valet parking at his house. So we go up, and we walk in, and we're standing in the.
They pat you down?
Not quite, but we're standing in the foyer of this really nice house, and just looking around, and every inch of wall space that you can see
Platinum Records
is just platinum. Yeah, the Platinum Records all over the place. And I know your living room looks like this too, but this was his. God bless him. Everything in there was gaudy. But impressive records. I mean, it was a walk down memory lane to walk through that house, because the first thing that you saw right next to the front door was the Platinum Award for Songs in the Key of Life.
Oh, man.
Well,
And the stuff that was in there was, the Journey records, Van Halen, and it just spanned, it was everything you heard on the radio.
but what did he really do to deserve those?
Well, but this story, it gets better. While I'm standing there waiting for Joe, some kid comes in who had to be Joe's kid, because he looked just like he was a mini Joe. And he was wearing a tracksuit.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
But it was like a velour tracksuit.
Right.
And he came in and he had somebody's demo in his hand. And he tossed the demo across the table. And he said, "I don't think the world is ready for another Vanilla Ice." And he turned around and he walked away. And he was like a little mini cartoon. So I was kind of getting a kick out of it, though. And we talked to a couple of the guys there, and they were offering a distribution deal to us, and it was a terrible, terrible deal. So we ended up not even entertaining it, not even making a second phone call. But in the meantime, we have to meet with Joe. So he walks in the room, and he says, "Come on back, fellas." And he's got probably $6,000 worth of clothes on. And it's not even a suit.
Right. He's just getting ready to relax.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's got like some suede pants or something. I was like, how opulent is this outfit? And it was glorious. It was truly, I had to applaud, because I was like, man, you know what? For whatever this is, this guy's going 100%.
Yeah. Joe is something special. I had a friend that worked for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he ratted on Joe.
Oh, you don't rat on Joe?
No, and Joe walked up to him in the hallway, and he right from his pocket he pulled his hand and he took his finger like a gun, and he went.
Oh,
This is before he was going to testify, or he testified.
yeah.
Right.
Oh my God.
So, Joe, for our listeners who look up Joe Iskro, it's worth a look.
Independent promotion guy.
He's an independent promotion guy, but he was alleged to have gotten a lot accomplished in the promotion business, because he'd show up with suitcases full of cash and cocaine. And,
Oh, no, never happened. That's
Never
all
happened.
BS.
Yeah. And great stories, though. Also, vacations and hookers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, but again, never happened. I mean, he was tried in federal court about it.
Yeah.
And nothing stuck. Yeah. Still a free man.
Yeah.
So,
That's an interesting time. Well, it went on.
yeah.
It went on.
Sure.
It went on years ago. Started way back. It started before I got in the business.
Sure.
Yeah.
It was just part of it. I mean,
Well-
there's so many songs going on. I mean, it was just all these backdoor deals, and
Yeah.
it's like, all right, how do you get a record on? Well, you just got to take care of business.
Right.
And it wasn't relegated to R&B stations. It was,
Stations.
yeah. I mean, I had guys come into town, and they go in the back room, and the guy'd come out and he'd be smiling and says, "Okay, that record's on." And I go,
Okay.
just like that. And then, they'd be buying time on the radio station in some way. It was, that's just a fact of life.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's a big money business. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Big money. You know, sports and entertainment. They're the same. They're the same. It's all entertainment.
Right.
What do you think baseball players are doing? They're entertaining.
Yeah, they're content.
basketball. They are.
Yeah, that's what they are. They're
You
content.
know, it's great, and people are paying to see them.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with
And you got to have a special talent, just like everything else.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, and the guys that are better than others are gonna
they're going to last longer
And
and
they're
they're going
gonna
to
make
do
more
better
money.
and make more money. And
yeah. And if you can write, you can have a career. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, that's if you can sustain a career. That's the hardest thing of all.
Right.
What a great life.
What
You're
a
doing
great
what
life.
you want to do. It's like that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm producing shows. That's what I like. I couldn't tune your car up if my life depended on it. You know,
Well, thankfully, you haven't spent all your time learning.
I
how
can't
to do
even
that.
screw in a spark plug. No,
They
I'm
got-
not.
There's guys who do that.
Yeah, I know. I pay.
They
them.
can't do what you do.
Yeah.
No, but I like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm really fortunate because, you know, first of all, my father was the one who said, "You just do what you want to do. You'll find it."
Uh-huh.
And he let me
Find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was no pushing there. It was just you'll find it, and that's what exactly happened. You know, I don't know what happened. I love music, and all of a sudden I got an opportunity, and it's not going to say I took advantage of it, but it came easy to me. All of a sudden, this is what I like doing.
Yeah.
You know, the same thing with the fundraisers. You know, I know a lot of people. I know a lot of radio people. I know a lot of TV people,
Sure.
and I utilize that.
Sure.
You know, I like helping people. I mean, it's
Yeah, and people come out for you because you're always helping somebody.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, when I did Crystal Middle School shows, most of the people that came in from Green Valley, they didn't have any kids that went to school there.
Yeah.
You'd think there was a disconnect,
Right.
you know, but no, they were the ones that were there. I mean, it was wonderful to see, you know.
Yeah.
It's-
Hey, it's the community.
Yeah, you got to give back. I mean, if you don't give back, you're a punk.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, if you know, there's givers and takers in this. You know, I just like giving.
Yeah.
I don't mind. It gets me off. 'Cause, you know, it's a pleasure, and it makes me tick to do things like that. I look forward to these shows that the Bimbo's doing autism awareness. You know, it's so much fun to be able to get bands and go up to them, being the producer of the show, and say, "Hey, Carlos, will you play Soul Sacrifice for me?"
Yeah.
Or, you know, seriously.
Yeah.
And what's he going to do? What's he going to say? You know, it's like,
Sure.
got power,
Play that for you.
you know?
Look at all these people you put together for autism awareness. I'll
It's-
play you Soul Sacrifice.
It's so much fun to be able to do that. It's like I'm pick songs for all kinds of artists. You know?
Right.
Jackie Green, as good as he is, you know, that's fun. You know, I'm raising money for different things.
Sure.
And I'm having a good time doing it. And and the most important thing is I'm bringing good music to people. And nothing does it for me than turn around and seeing everybody tapping their toes and smiling and having a good time. That's what music is, you know.
Thank you, Jeff.
My pleasure. Thank you.